Dallas Mavericks all-star Kyrie Irving has suffered a season-ending torn ACL in his left knee, sources telling ESPN. Our Shams Charania breaking the story. Irving appeared in 50 of the Mavs' 62 games so far. He's currently the only player in the NBA averaging at least 20 points, 40% from three, and 90% from the free throw line. The fifth season in his career with those statistics, second most all-time to Steph Curry. This is absolutely devastating. Big Perk, coming to you. Kyrie done for the season with a torn ACL.
Yeah, it is devastating because, Kyrie was playing at an all NBA level. And it's been a beautiful thing to see and watch him in the Dallas Maverick uniform, Molly. His leadership has been through the roof. After everything that happened in Brooklyn, he made people forget about that because of his play and leadership. Now, I will say this. For Kyrie, it is not the end of the world for him. As a guy that was 285, 280, 6'10", I tore my ACL and I was back in 6 months. The doctors that the league have and the technology that you have, yes, I understand it's an ACL, but Kyrie will be back. He will be back stronger. One of the most mental tough guys that we've ever been around when it comes to putting in the hard work and approaching the game of basketball. Kyrie will be just fine. And now the Dallas Mavericks have some decisions to make. What do? Do you even force to bring back Anthony Davis? The answer is no. Shut down the remainder, shut that guy down as well, and look forward to next season.
Shay?
Yeah, I spoke earlier as a guy, you remember I said they can't get any worse. Well, it absolutely just got worse. Kyrie Irving being done for the season, and you're absolutely right, Perk. Look, Anthony Davis is going to want to come back. I'm not rushing him now because you know what? By the time he gets back in, say, 2 to 3 weeks, there's only going to be 3 to 4 weeks left. And what are you playing for? I don't believe they're going to shut Anthony Davis completely down, Perk. I still believe if he's able to come back, they're going to want him to get some continuity, get his legs back under him. But with that being said, man, damn, Mavs, I mean, it could not have gone any worse. You trade Luka, you think you got a great pickup with AD and Max Christie, who's been playing well since he's been in Dallas. Now, what's even worse, Molly, you remember they just came out with a report. They're looking to raise ticket prices for at least by 9% as an investment. The fans were like, hold on, we would have been willing to make that investment for Luka. Now y'all traded. Now we're gonna be out of the playoffs, and now y'all want to raise ticket prices? Yeah. Man, this is the absolute worst news the Mavericks could have gotten. I don't know, man. I can only imagine what the fans are thinking now. What type of luck do we have? We traded Luka, our homegrown guy. Now Kyrie's injured. AD was been injured for the last 2 weeks. It's bad, man. It's real bad for the Mavs.
Yeah, Ocho?
Listen, it's bad for the Mavs, it's bad for the fans, it's bad for the organization. Kyrie, the growth in which he showed to this point, obviously when he was with Cleveland, Brooklyn, to where he is now, the growth that he's shown, especially from a skill set and a leadership perspective, he has been phenomenal. He's been lights out. Unc, you just mentioned the Mavs wanted to raise ticket prices. Well, there are two players on that team that can put butts in the seat, that are willing to pay whatever the price may be to come watch their team play with Luka being gone. That's Kyrie Irving, and the other is AD. With him out, now Kyrie being out for the foreseeable future, I say he probably, when it comes to a ACL like that, we talk about 6-7 months, yeah. With time to rehab. So that sucks. Also, I think about it from the standpoint about this. Kyrie, as special as he is, the best ball handler of all time with the ball in his hands. The skill set and what he's able to do, being able to stop and go, coming up. You already know what I'm talking about from that standpoint. How much time does he need to get back to the old Kyrie we're used to seeing? Will we ever see? Perk, you said nothing's going to be wrong with him. He's going to be able to come back. Will he come back and be able to still be the same guy, especially coming off an ACL injury? Because things change. It takes time to get that type of confidence to be able to make the moves and be used to playing the game you used to play before you got injured. It's very hard. It becomes a mental battle at that point. So, listen, it really sucks. I hate to see people get injured, especially some of the great ones, especially like Kyrie. So, speedy recovery for him, yeah. And hopefully he gets back fast.
And the chemistry of him and AD playing together. They didn't get much time to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I just hope the Mavs, the last thing, I hope the Mavs will, I believe the Mavs will do the right thing by making sure that they do right by Kyrie this offseason, meaning backing the Brinks truck up, because they don't have no other direction to go to be honest with you.
Perk, I have a question. Now that you just mentioned that, most of the time from football perspective. I'm not sure how it works in the NBA. Once we have an ACL injury, they view you completely different. They don't value as much as they do once you tear your ACL if you play football. Is NBA different in terms of contractually with Kyrie obviously getting the bag in this offseason?
Yeah, no, it is different. And then it's all about relationships too. It's an old saying, you know this, Shannon, Molly. It's not what you know, it's who you know, right? And you got to realize Nico Harrison and Kyrie relationship started way before the Dallas Mavericks.
All right, so that's a positive for him. All right, we'll keep it rolling, guys. More NBA to get into tonight here.
He looks seamless, like they're rolling. What do you think about Bron being the ultimate energy guy to Luka being the best player and he's being energized? What do you think about that matchup?
It's great for LeBron. When I would watch them before on offense, and I think just as an aside, like when I was looking at some of the minute dispersal stuff, like in November, they're in the 20s defensively. Well, they replaced 30 minutes of D'Angelo Russell. They replaced another 20 minutes of Cam Reddish out there, and Dalton Connect was shooting it better, so he was playing more. It was like 25 minutes. So now you're talking about like 70-plus minutes of guys defensively that are just not part of the rotation, even though Dalton's still on the team with the weird trade part of it. So like that's been something that's happened on the perimeter that I'm like, man, all right, so I guess they're going to be this good defensively. I'm still not sure about it in the playoffs part of it. But to the offense and to Lou's point about LeBron, like I think LeBron needs somebody that can carry the load, certainly during the regular season here, because there are a lot of times on offense where it's D'Angelo Russell just freestyling out there, and you're like, all right, you're waiting for the screen, and everything kind of stops, and you're like bent over at the three-point line, and you're waiting, and like even when he was pretty good off of the screen, it just, everything would kind of stop. And then I would see LeBron running point, and I'm like, those look like the best possessions, which still would make sense because of how brilliant of a player he is. But it's like, could LeBron really bring up the ball? Like, can he bring it up 35, 37 minutes a night and initiate your offense? Like, that's asking a lot as this guy continues to be a superhero here. So I thought they would have Reeves initiate a lot of this stuff. And now they have the option of Luka taking that burden because he's one of the best players in the league with all this stuff. Look, these guys, Luka's not even shooting it well. Those three guys are terrific scorers. Like Reeves really is, I think, maybe a level above the way he's appreciated now that he's in the shadows of these stars. They're all going to live at the free throw line. So Luka initiating the offense and LeBron playing off of it during LeBron's prime, I'm like, that's a waste of LeBron possessions. But now I think it's perfect because they're huge attacking players. There's also something happening in this league when they did this shift with the way it was officiated about a year ago. All the unintended consequences, officiating the game is a moving target that you're never perfectly going to hit. But bigger players that are drivers are getting away with murder in this game. Like you can just barrel into guys and nobody's flopping as much anymore. And so like guys like Luka and LeBron and on these big drives, I think we see it with Cade, I think we see it with Tatum. I mean, it's a massive advantage because Luka does not drive to avoid. Luka drives to contact, and then you're just in jail at the rim. And I think it's actually maybe the single best offensive option in the league. If I had, the ball, one possession, get me something I like with his passing, I think it's the most dangerous offensive possession in basketball.
I have realized that, especially guys just getting downhill, and the offensive player is creating more contact than ever, and they're letting them play, and they're letting them run.
I'm expecting